computer and my glasses there, but I'm Bobby Peters, and I have been with Arbonne for 11 years. My background is in nutrition, and I absolutely love this part of Arbonne. We're talking about the 30 days to healthy living and some of the results that some of you guys
I got it
and
just
experienced. And so what I would just tell you is that the transformation is so exciting. And it's also something that, when somebody makes a decision for their health, I don't take it lightly. You probably have heard the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I think there were some brave souls that said yes to health. And we're going to celebrate those people tonight. Many times in life, we do not get a celebration for achievement. And we get to do that all the time in what we do, but I want to pay it forward to all of you because I want you to know that transformation is very powerful. The other part of this is I think there's something to being, seeing a before and after with on social media with a little bit of information about that person's journey. But when you get to see and hear a live testimonial, it does something to you. It empowers you to, if you're sitting on the fence, it helps you to make a decision. You will probably think of some family and friends and say, oh my goodness, they need to hear about this. This is a legit thing that will help them. It's a tool in their tool belt to help them get where they want to go. So I'm going to tell you who's on the call tonight with us. I love Zoom. It's our video conferencing, and I love it because instead of a Facebook Live, it's not just one person talking. We all get to interact, almost like if we were sitting across the table from each other. But who's on tonight is each of us who are in Arbonne as a business. We have groups where we have our discount buyers, and so we have offered them to come on tonight and to hop on to hear some information. So if you're one of those people, we want to welcome you. If you're listening to the recording, we want to welcome you to this as well. We're going to go on and grab some paper and a pen to take some notes. But you also are going to, there are people here tonight that have said yes. They have gone through the 30-day journey. Those are the people we're going to celebrate tonight. I am so excited about that. And then you're also going to see some of us who are in Arbonne. We get to be health coaches because we've been through the program. I mentioned my background is in nutrition. You don't have to have a background in nutrition to build a business with Arbonne, but what we do is we encourage and we support in a way that I really haven't found anywhere else. My goal is always to serve and to leave people better than I found them, and I hope that's what you find tonight with the information you hear. So I would just tell you, grab a pen and paper, take some notes, maybe something that sticks out to you like an aha. If there's something that pops up and you go, I have a question, we can do a little Q&A if we got a little time at the end. If not, your consultant or your health coach can help you. And then the other thing is that you will probably think of somebody that needs to hear this, and it could be you. So what we're going to do tonight is I have asked the people who are doing the health coaching that they're doing the celebration with their guests tonight is these brave souls are going to share. And I always think it takes a lot, sometimes for us to share. And so we're going to do that tonight and have them interviewed through some questions that they've already seen beforehand. And the reason why we specifically chose these questions, because I felt like it was a good overview of what people need to hear. And then also to give, enough information of their journey. And so we're going to have the health coach interview their participants. And then what happened at the end is that it'll come back to me and I'll be able to close us out for the evening and hopefully have a little bit of time for Q&A if you guys have any. So I'm going to go ahead and toss this to Lauren Bertoft. Lauren, are you okay to interview Charles tonight? She's frozen.
Charles for the 30 Days to Healthy Living Challenge, and he had a fantastic transformation, and I love transformation stories. And so I'm going to start off real quick, Charles. What made you say yes to the 30-day clean eating program with Arbonne?
Actually, it was my wife. She heard me say several times, throughout last year, oh, I've gained so much weight, I wasn't happy with how I was feeling, things like that. And at the end of last year, there was an opportunity to join the program, and she asked me, and I was like, sure, why not? So it was kind of a push by my wife to do it.
And now you've kind of pushed her into it, right?
Absolutely. She saw what the effects, and now I'm encouraging her and supporting her through her 30-day challenge.
That's awesome. What were some, if any, challenges that you experienced in your first week?
Um, I think the biggest challenge was the timing of my kit coming in, because if you remember, it was until like Tuesday before the kit came in. So trying
Gotcha.
to do what I needed to do. So I wasn't quite. I started off on the wrong foot, not being able to, eat properly. Didn't have my shakes. Didn't have the fizz stick. So those first 2 days were rough. Then, I was drinking the water. I was eating as clean as possible. But after that, it was all gravy. I mean, fortunately, you gave me a little Band-Aid to help me through one of the days, and that was I think the biggest thing right there is just not starting off right.
Right. When during the 30 days did you begin to notice any changes? And what were they?
I want to say it was probably about the fourth or fifth day that I noticed that I was feeling really good. That I wasn't running into that wall that I normally had. I work long hours, up
Mhm.
to 14, 16 hours. So by the end of the day, I used to just drag in. I would drink 2 or 3 monsters just to get me through the day. And with this, that fourth day, I was feeling fine. I didn't need it, and just was enjoying everything I was eating. The vegetables and everything just felt more energized.
I love that. I know I had somebody recently tell me when they saw the recipes, she goes, "Oh, we get to eat actual food. I thought it was just going to be chicken."
Yeah, the recipes were awesome too. I mean, I'm loving the shakes.
Difference too. Like I think when you take a when you focus on eating clean, like you said, and you don't have the um, the Arbonne products for those healthy exchanges, that really makes a difference too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at the end of the 30 days, what were your biggest wins?
I think I think my biggest wins was actually how I felt. At first, I thought it was going to be, the weight loss, and that actually became a byproduct to how I was feeling. So actually, I mean, I just overall felt better, slept better, made it through my days much better. So that was my biggest win and biggest surprise. I mean, I thought that you're just losing weight. That's all this was going to be. But overall, it was how I felt. It was the biggest win for me.
The weight loss is just a byproduct.
Correct.
So, what would you say to someone thinking about embarking on this journey for their health?
I would tell them to do it. I mean, if they want, like for me going into it for weight loss, I'd let them know that there's going to be more to it than that. That it's not just going to be like I said, it's not just the weight loss. It's feeling better. It's actually overall getting healthier. And absolutely encourage them to do that. It's probably the best move I've made.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I love that. Love your transformation. And you've continued on since you've started in January, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm finishing up my third round now.
Awesome. So proud of you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
every week he'll give me an update as to his weight loss because we are working towards a goal. So I kind of help keep his feet to the fire.
Yep.
Thank you so much. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow, Charles, that's awesome. And I am proud of you for continuing on the journey. I think that's where you're really going to start to even have just that bigger transformation of the way you feel. So thank you. Awesome job. I may have some Q&A for you at the end here. I wrote down a couple notes as you were talking. So thank you for sharing your story. Lori, are you there? And do you have your guests to go ahead and interview?
I am here, and I just, before I get started, I'll stop the screen share, but, Charles, we're really proud of you. This is incredible. Thank you for taking these photos, and the ones that I am going to be interviewing tonight, and we're going to start with Taylor, so I'll just warn you now, Taylor. I'm going to stop screen share. They're still in the process, just like you, Charles, except they're like really still in the process. Some of them are just kind of finishing up a 30-day, and so we will have pictures for next time. But I was really proud of Taylor. I just want to introduce her really quickly. Met her at the gym, and she had broken her back, actually, really put some harm, did some harm to her body as a weightlifter in high school, and was rebuilding herself. And this is a young lady that just has a lot of strength, a lot of courage, a lot of fortitude. And I'm going to let her tell her own story about her challenges, but I'm proud of how she would just get right back up, just get right back up and do what she's supposed to. So Taylor, if you want to, let me see, I'll unmute. Okay, there you go. I'm going to ask you the same questions, and I want to just thank you so much for hopping on tonight to share your story. So what made you say yes to this clean eating challenge?
You.
Yeah.
100%. I've always had challenges with eating healthy. That's been my number one issue. I've always been an athlete, always worked out, but I feel like eating was very hard for me. In high school, I restricted my eating because I was a weightlifter. So I had to make sure that I was in a specific weight class. And I think that just kind of spiraled into my unhealthy eating. So I would binge eat and then restrict myself. And then it was kind of like this back and forth for a couple years. So I had this unhealthy view of food. And I think that with Arbonne and the different products that they have and just the whole 30-day challenge, I think that it really did help me make sure that I'm eating properly and learning what to eat. And overall, I think that it was your motivation for me to join the challenge. So I appreciate that.
I'm so proud of you. I really am. You're incredible. So what were some of the challenges in the first week when you got started?
In the first week, it was the cravings, just because, going from eating terribly all the time to making sure that I'm eating clean. So sometimes I would get a headache here and there. But after the first week, that's when I really started seeing the changes.
Very cool. Well, why don't we go right into that? So what did you notice? What were the changes that you noticed?
My headache stopped, and I had more of a mental focus, which is really important for me because I'm in graduate school. And I feel like when I was eating unhealthy, I just wasn't as focused. But with using the Arbonne products and making sure that I'm eating clean, I feel like my mental focus really did enhance. And then I started seeing a little bit of weight changes in about like the third week. So it was mostly for me the energy and the mental focus that I had. And then, like Charles said, weight loss just a byproduct.
Well, that's fabulous. And, you can't say anything, you can't put a price on energy and mental focus, right? It's just, especially in grad school. So what would you say, okay, your biggest wins, you're talking about the energy, you're talking about the mental focus. We really haven't had an update. So I know that you you were working like very tight on the program, and then you had a weekend off here and there and whatever. But overall, what would you say was your big win so far?
I think my biggest win is losing 12 pounds. That's huge for me. It's really difficult for me to lose the fats that I'd like to. So I feel like this challenge has really kept me on pace. I did take a few days off for spring break. It's kind of difficult to make sure you're getting your shakes in when you're at the beach. But I will say my biggest win is losing the 12 pounds that I did in the 30 days.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm so proud of you. So what would you say to someone that you were recommending? How would you recommend to somebody about this program?
I would say 100% do it. there's no downside to it. I mean, it can be a little pricey at the beginning, but I mean, what's a price on your health? So I think that I would just recommend it to anybody. It is really important to make sure you're eating clean. And I feel like with this challenge, because everything was laid out, the recipes were there for you. There was the support on the Facebook group. It's a win-win all around.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, if your friends and family are listening, we need to talk. I appreciate you sharing. I really do. And if anybody has been writing down, taking notes, we might have a little Q&A at the end, but we're going to move on. So thank you, Taylor. And I am going to move next to Kara, because I know you're in a different time zone. Sorry, Chandi, I tricked you. Kara, I know you probably have kids that you've got to put down or get going. You're in a different time zone, and I don't know what's happening. Is it dinner? But
it's dinner.
Okay. So Kara's in Colorado. Her mother is my neighbor, and so that is one of the coolest things about this business is I get to meet people that I would have never ever met before. I absolutely love it. So Kara, tell me, we're going to go down this same line. Now you have a different story. So what made you say yes to Arbonne 30 Days?
My story is very different, and I love hearing everyone's stories and everyone's wins. That's awesome. By the way, I'm sitting over here like, oh my gosh, so cool. So my story is that ever since my second child was born, and he's 5 years old now, I have struggled terribly with adult acne, and I've tried everything, and I have yet to find anything that will help. I am celiac, and I already eat gluten-free, and within like the last 8 months I went dairy-free as well because my stomach could not tolerate it. And I also was diagnosed with leaky gut last summer, which is just uncomfortable, I guess. You know, I don't eat gluten, and I cut out dairy, and I didn't notice a bunch of stomach pain after that, but my concern was just that my body wasn't running efficiently or able to absorb the nutrients very well, and I could see that on my face. So funny story, I actually connected with Lori because I was asking my mom about her face products, and I was looking for more face products because I've gone through more than I can count and spent a whole heck of a lot of money on them trying to clear up the adult acne. And when Lori and I talked that first time, she just planted that seed, like, have you thought about, you know, healthy from the inside out, and, you know, let's cut out all those foods that cause inflammation in the body, and let's just see what happens. A lot of times your body can settle and your skin can heal. And I said, yeah, that's interesting. I already eat pretty healthy. I don't know, let me think about it. But that was it. That was the seed, Lori. And I thought, you know, I've heard this for so long and I've put it off. You know, I love coffee. I love coffee. That was hard for me, but not as hard as I thought. And some of the other stuff was just still in my diet, right? Like when you eat a gluten-free diet, you eat a lot of corn. There was some soy in there and some other things. So I thought I'd jump in and see what I could do and eliminate those things and see how it went.
Amazing. Amazing. So you've got to share with everybody what your challenges were in that first week.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was crazy. So the first week, so the digestion blend was my challenge, and I'll just tell the story. So the first time I took the digestion blend, it lit a fire. I don't know how another way to describe this. Down my throat, into my gut, it felt like it was burning. It burned so bad the rest of my body shut down. I mean, like I was like in the middle of cleaning my kitchen and in the middle of everything in our nighttime routine, and I was just taking my last shake, and I just took the digestion blend, and I told my husband, like, I'm so sorry, I have to go lay down right now. I didn't even do my bedtime routine. I just had hit the pillow and I was out. I mean, like, I haven't slept that hard and I don't know how long, and I slept all night long, and I woke up and it felt fine when I woke up, but that burning down, all the way down and into my gut was the craziest feeling I've ever felt. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this for 30 days, if this is what it's going to feel like. But I tried it again. So the second night I took it, I tried it another way. It was a little more diluted. And it did still burn, but my body didn't shut down, and I was able to finish out my evening routine. So it was less burning, but it still burned a little bit, right? And then that third night, the burning was gone. And now I can take the digestion blend just fine. It doesn't faze me at all, but it felt like, I was telling Lori, it just felt like these little cleaners went into my system and just burned out all the bad stuff that was in there. And it just made me think that something was really, really unhealthy inside of me. And I didn't know, but whatever that was, it got burned out. Those first couple days, that was wild. That was wild,
wasn't it? Yeah, I had never heard that story before. I was kind of like, okay, it burned? Bobby, what do? I don't know what she's talking about. I'm like, it's just probiotics. Like, what are we talking about here? So in addition to that, okay, tell me what changes you started to notice, after that first week, getting through all of that. Tell me what changes that you've noticed.
Okay, sweetie, I'll be there in a minute. Excuse me. So, one of the things, I guess within the first week, Lori, I think I told you, I'm a coffee drinker. I love coffee. And I thought I'd have this crazy crash. I actually didn't experience a crazy crash outside of the gut burning, which wasn't an all day thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple times, those 2 times in the evening. But I felt like clean energy is the best way I know how to describe it. I didn't have a crash after I'd have a cup of coffee, or a little more focus, more steady energy throughout the day. And so that definitely felt different. I wasn't experiencing any type of a crash.
Very good. Very good. So what would you say is your biggest win so far? Because I know that you're on a 120-day or 90-day track here. And yes. So you're just starting round 2, just kind of getting started on round 2. Yeah. So, this is going to be a to be continued story because we're trying to do some deep healing here. But what would you say at this point is your biggest win?
I think at this point, my biggest win is just getting all of those foods out of my system that might cause an inflammatory response and just feeling really clean. It's funny, how food, I think Charles mentioned this, food tastes different. It tastes amazing. Sugar snap peas are the best thing on earth. They taste so good. Yeah, I think just, the way food tastes and just, having that steady energy so far is my biggest win. I still haven't seen the results in my skin, but what I have seen is a purging, and I think that's what it is. And so whatever was unhealthy in there feels like it's just coming out.
You are brave, and I appreciate. I think this is great for everybody to hear that you're taking the long view. Not wanting, it's very difficult. I know that was a challenge for you, to go ahead and just, still have to wear the acne, but going for that longer term healing so that we can heal the body from the inside out. And of course you're using the skincare, but that's a different topic for another. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. There might be some questions. But if you do have to hop off, just feel free to go ahead and do that. I understand you've got family pulling at you.
Sure.
But if you can stay, we would love to have you to the very end. So I'll go ahead and, Shonda, you've unmuted yourself. So thank you again, Kara. Shonda, my sweet friend. Oh my goodness. Again, this is such a testimony to, I absolutely love this business. People that I would have never met. My new sister that moved from Oregon to Tallahassee. And tell me, why did you say yes to this 30-day program?
Well, after just a short conversation that Lori and I had after one of my classes, I teach a class at a gym. And so she approached me about this business that she had. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll look into it. And we had a get-together planned where we were going to talk a little bit more about it. But the type of person that I am, I research ahead of time to find out what it was that she was going to be speaking to me about. And she actually caught me at a time where I was ready to make changes. So everything just kind of came together. It being the beginning of the year, I think it was the middle of February. I had already made decisions about some changes that I wanted to make for the year, but I had been searching for the right tool to do it. My husband and I had used supplements in the past, and we had had successes. But when we moved here, we made some lifestyle changes, not the best changes. We gained some weight. We discovered some food that we hadn't experienced before, and we liked it. And we enjoyed it. And in fact, we were just speaking the other day when we would have our friends and family visit us. We weren't taking them to all the wonderful places in Florida. We were taking them to all the wonderful restaurants that we'd found. And my son had visited, and he's actually vegan. And I had no idea what to do with him. I didn't know where to go eat. I didn't know what to buy for him. And so he spent a week down here and kind of gave me a little bit of insight. And at the time I was like, no way, I couldn't do that. I couldn't give up this. I couldn't give up this. Couldn't give up this. But after looking at the testimonies online and kind of looking a little bit about the product and the pharmaceutical component, I'm like, you know what, I'll try it. Why not try it? It's only 30 days. And it was pretty easy sale, I think. I was like, okay, before she even really needed to go into much, I'd already made that commitment. But what really, I think what got me was cleaning out my gut. I had watched a tutorial about the example of tar in your stomach and that your nutrients could not, you couldn't get the nutrients that I was already putting in my body, that I thought I was eating clean and making good choices prior, but I wasn't able to absorb the nutrients. And I thought that makes a lot of sense. And so that's really, like I said, it was an easy decision to try something because I was already looking for something and I had never done this before. So why not give it a shot? And Lori was very supportive in trying to make that transition, because it was a big transition to give up everything that I had newly discovered and fell in love with.
Sorry that we corrupted you. I apologize. So, well, you're telling me some of your challenges, but tell me, like, in that first week, what were your challenges that first week, and then when did you just go roll right into what you noticed as some positive changes? You know.
Right. Well, the first week, I actually I'd gotten the kit in the mail, and I had to leave the next day for work. I had to travel outside of town, and so I was trying to do this on the road. So that was at first just making that switch and being on the road, not being at home, where I could easily, mix up the shake or, make a decision to go to the grocery store. I was in a hotel room, and then I got really sick, and it wasn't from the product that I caught the flu. And I don't know if you remember, I was down, and I didn't really get a chance to see if that first week was what all of the side effects could be, as opposed to what I was feeling as far as the flu. But I loved having the detox tea during that time. It was so soothing because I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything. So my big challenge was being sick and trying to implement it. But I did it, and the first week, after I finished coming back from being out of town and everything, I got on the scale and I'm like, wait a minute, that was 10 pounds. And I don't know if that's 10 pounds from being sick or that's 10 pounds from being on the program. So I was kind of on the fence there. What is this going to be? So then I got into, the serious business here, and it actually affected my family. So my husband, he would get up and he would make the shakes for me. He's very supportive in that. But then I was saying, but I don't want to eat this and I'm not going to eat this. And so we had to almost have 2 different menus every night. So that was a challenge. But he, again, being supportive and wanting me to do well. But what happened in that challenge is now he is eating the way that I want to, instead of him needing to make something separate for him. He's actually on board, and he hasn't started the program, but he's lost a significant amount of weight just eating clean and following along the guidelines that I'm trying to do. So yeah, I would say challenges are being sick, my family, and then just trying to find the products that support you. So when you go shopping, it's so easy to find all of the things that are filled with GMOs, actually changing where we shop and what we're looking for when we go to the store, and then also when we go out to eat. So those were challenges at the beginning.
So now you have actually completed 1 month. You're kind of rolling into another month also. So what is your biggest win so far?
I think for me, aside from the weight loss, the win is I've discovered this community of support, which has helped not only keep me committed, but it has allowed me to get past that first few weeks so that I started to feel all of the energy increase. I had endurance. I could sleep so well through the night. I have an autoimmune disease, which will cause me to get inflamed very easily. And after I would come home from workouts, I would feel it immediately. I'd feel things swelling up, joints aching, and then I'd wake up in the morning and I knew that I'd worked out the night before, and I'd walk to the the bathroom in the morning feeling like I was probably 65, 70 years old. But that went away. My recovery in this, I think, is the biggest win, because I feel so good after I work out. I feel good when I wake up in the morning. I'm refreshed. I have a pretty busy schedule with work, with my family, church, and I take a college class, and like I said, I teach classes in the evening, so my day's pretty full, so I could easily crash throughout the day, and I was keeping this even plateau all day long, and it was just because of how I was eating and the support that I had. It's the easiest transition that I've made. It's been the easiest regiment to stick to, and I thought it was going to be the hardest. And in that, I've also, my skin is better. I was having, I don't know, you turn 40 and things happen to your face that you thought you were done with when you were a teenager, but it comes back. And so all of that has helped me. I don't have not as much acne, but just blemishes. I just see my skin's clearing up in areas. I'm not hungry. It's an easy to follow program. And
that's amazing.
I'm excited to go into my second week. And as of today, I'm down 20 pounds.
Ah, congratulations. That's beautiful.
So it's, and saying that, I know that that's really what's inside my tummy. Those are things that I cleared out of my tummy, because I can see a little bit of difference in my clothing and stuff, but the scale is showing this, and I know that's what I've cleared out inside my tummy. And so that alone is a huge win and success for me. So I just encourage anyone to try that, to see what you can do. It's not about what's on the scale, but how you're feeling.
Truth. So you would recommend this to other people, I'm guessing?
Absolutely. I've tried to recommend it to everyone that I know. And I care about people feeling better.
Yeah.
And, if you're willing to do this, it was, thinking about giving up soda and giving up dairy and flour and meat. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? But there is so many places that support this, and there's so many things that you can find, and it's kind of like a hobby now, looking to see where I can go eat and what I can replace food with, because there's so many options and I feel good about it. And, like Kara said, initially there is a cost, but it's an investment on yourself. And it actually, the way that it works out for you, it really affects your budget in your food bill. You don't see that. You don't see that because you're using the shakes, you're using that supplement, and you could be spending that money, going out to lunch or whatever you're purchasing during for your breakfast. However you're doing it, you really don't see a huge increase in your grocery bill.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I am so proud of everybody. I just want to say that, but I'm going to toss it back to Bobby, but I just want to tell you, Taylor, Kara, Shandi, and, for and Charles and all of you that are listening, I'm just grateful for your time tonight, but I am really super grateful for these brave souls to share their stories, because I know it's not easy. You have to be a little bit vulnerable, but it does change other people's lives. We just really appreciate you. So, Bobby, I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. Can you hear me okay? All right. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. And then what we can do is if you can stay on, if not, I don't know if there'll be Q&A, but I'm going to go ahead and close us out. And then we can stop the recording, and then we can have some Q&A time, because I do have a couple of things, but I can always ask them later. So here's the thing. I just want to say, celebrating each of you who shared tonight, I wrote down some amazing notes. I was sitting here, you probably see me leaning over. I love the fact that, hey, we have a community. I love hearing Charles saying, I went from Monster energy drinks, right, to these fizz sticks, and being able to have something sustainable for his life that he can carry out into, a 90-day program to get a goal. Okay. So I think a lot of times people go, I have a goal, but I don't know how to get there. There's no solution, or there's no easy set button. Hearing there's autoimmune disorders here. We have leaky gut. I mean, there were things that were very serious. You have a college student on here tonight. And so I heard, hey, do you want endurance? Do you want better mental focus? Do you want to sleep really well? Do you want to have a community where you're supported? Endurance, sleep, mental focus, better skin, right? So you're having all these things. And I love the words clean energy. That is exactly what I feel like. And so in hearing your guys' story, what I heard from, I think, all of you was that, I had weight loss. And I think that's why initially people began, except for the Kara here, who kind of shared, I had some inflammation that I just said, I've got to get a hold of this. But most people start because they want to lose weight. And guess what? The byproduct was the thing that made you guys feel so successful in what you were doing. So great job on that. So if you're listening tonight and you are not a part of this yet, or maybe you're on here and you've done the 30 days, here's where people land. Some people are ready to jump into our next group, okay? And so our next group for 30 days is actually starting May 7th. And so Charles mentioned something that was pretty powerful. He said, I didn't get my supplies in time. If you're drinking a bunch of Monster energy drinks and you don't have, or coffee, somebody mentioned, and you don't have that resource, and we don't want you to fail. So we want you to be able to get your stuff in time. So we're going to tell you what the dates are for cutoff. Some people hear this and they say, you know what, I would love to hear the details of the 30 days. Sometimes transformation stories are powerful in and of themselves. But some people need to know a little bit more. Shandi said she did her research. So maybe there's something we can get you into, a very simple video or a Facebook group to share the information. So we're not sharing all of that tonight, to give you a great overview. Some people say, I thought of my uncle, I thought of my best friend, I thought of my spouse, and you want to get them connected to your health coach or consultant, so we can identify how best to serve them. That is always the goal, how best to serve them. And then some people are going to say, you know what, I love the fact that I can have a group of my friends and we can do this together, because I think the community part and accountability is what really gets people moving through those difficult times, because you have almost like a built-in cheerleader, for you all along the way with the group that you're in. So if you are not already our discount buyer program, which is it's called a preferred client, and tonight you'll receive it's $29 for the year. You'll receive 40% off the Healthy Living Kit. You'll get free shipping, and you'll also get a free full-size gift valued up to $98. If you've already done the program and you want to continue, or you want to get some really great value, and you just need to get a couple things, we can set you up to do your 20% off, get your free shipping and another free gift. Or we can get that kit again at 40% off, just the same way as the people who are signing up brand new. So here's what I want to give you the dates. The next order for the Healthy Living Kits, you're going to want to write this down. You're going to want that to go in. I like to get them in the Friday, a whole week before, just because if there's anything of a delay on anybody's end, it gets to them so that people are set up. So April 27th would be my date that I would tell people. I do have people that will order on that Monday after that, so that they can be set up. And I think that's the 30th. So you can get that, but you might miss out on day one of not having your stuff. You still can do it, but if you're a caffeine junkie like I used to be and my fizz sticks have replaced that, then you're going to want to have your tools. So April 27th. So if you're thinking of somebody, share the video, let them know they're going to hear this. Or if you're interested in just dipping your toe in the water, or you've been on the program and you say, you know what, I don't really want to go for a longer time, then we have what's going to, a 10-day lose the belly bloat, okay, is what we're going to call it. And it's going to be May 14th is going to be the kickoff of that. And we already have people in a 10-day flat belly detox right now, and they are going to do their live testimonials on Sunday, April 29th, much like tonight. So want to be able to, if you've got somebody that says, gosh, I could never do that for 30 days, because we all have those people, right? But they go, oh, I could do it for 10. Then let us know, and we will make sure they get the invitation. So with that, I want to go ahead and just say, so proud of you. We're celebrating you. Thank you for your time. And then Lori, if you'll just stop the recording,